Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I just am here, the creator and writer of the Honest Sisters newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video where we use the tarot to become the alchemists of our lives and teach us how to become spiritual beings. A little bit about me. I do not just use the tarot. I use God and cousins in the same sentence. And I may mispronounce some things, but if it does not stop Charlamagne and God, it will not stop me. So I am about to do a blockages reading, and I want to know what's blocking us from becoming spiritual beings. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, what is stopping us from recognizing our power as spiritual beings? What is stopping us from connecting to the spiritual realm? What is stopping us from believing in you? God, I ask that you please deliver these messages to me and through me. Allow no room for doubt or confusion in me or the viewer's mind. In God's name, I pray. So the two cards that came out is rejection and perseverance. Angel number 112. The message that I get right away, is that you have felt very rejected from God, and I feel like you felt like God has not been there for you, and like you worked very hard, and you haven't seen any growth, and so it made you bitter, and you like, I don't know why I should believe in God if He has not done anything to help me. But I feel like we have to question, what are we truly believing in God for? What are we asking Him to do? Are we asking Him to do something we're not willing to do? Are we asking Him to step in and interfere on this thing called free will? I think we don't understand that we are channels of God. So which means that yes, God flows through everything. God is in everything. God is in us. But God can't show up if we don't choose to do it. And so you may have been praying to God to do something, or you may have been asking God, do this, do this, do this. And God's going to give you ideas for you to do that, do that, do that. And you've been ignoring them. And then you tell God you feel rejected. And you feel like God is not paying you any attention while you're working so hard for growth. But the truth is, you're not listening to God. But don't take my word for it. That's just a little bit of a channel guidance that I get. Angel number 231. I'm going to actually go ahead and hit the book and see what this message of rejection means for us. Rejection. They won't use me. The artist is summoned for jury duty, but they won't use him. He doesn't fit their conception of what a juror should be. He paints pictures no one understands. He lives alone. They want somebody who will put himself in the other guy's shoes, but he will never do that. He doesn't get mixed up in anything or anyone. They honor his individuality when they invite him, yet when he appears, they reject it by not using him. You don't have to be on the inside track. Be true to yourself and you will not be unhappy. Rejection is spiritual protection. Am I working with or against my environment? What is the purpose of my present solitude? And so I just feel like for some of you guys, I really want you to focus on this message of rejection and spiritual protection. You may have been asking God to put you in certain situations or take you out of certain situations, not realizing by you being in that situation is actually what's going to persevere and make you become that person that's going to persevere and create you into the person you're meant to be. It's just like I think about that video I saw about the tornado and how a tornado can't even form if all the elements are not perfect. So sometimes God may have you in these high pressure situations so that you can be like that diamond and crack and grow. But sometimes in your mindset, if you look at it differently, if you feel like, oh, well, God, now listen to me, not realizing that everything is happening for you. The question that this said right here is, am I working with or against my environment? I tell you guys all the time, I have been so irritated that I'm still in corporate America. I'm still doing this. But when I really sit back and think about it, 2 or 3 years ago, I used to complain about being in the office and, oh, I wish I didn't have to do this and da da da. And now all I do is work from home and I still complain. And it took for me to look at myself and be like, okay, it's not like I'm not trying to get myself out the situation. It's not like I haven't applied for other jobs. Obviously, if everything is being denied, there's clearly a reason that God has me here. And so instead of working against my environment, why don't I just focus on what this situation is trying to teach me? Why don't I focus on finding contentment in this situation? I actually recently ran across this video from Jerry and like Jerry and Esther Hicks. It was like one of those Abraham Hicks videos. And it was this guy talking about how he wants this boat. And she was just like, well, why do you want the boat? And he's like, well, I just want the boat. It's for satisfaction. Like, it doesn't mean anything. I just want the boat. And so she was explaining it to him by saying, do you really just want the boat for satisfaction? Or do you want the boat to show other people that you have this other status? Meaning, do you genuinely want the boat? Or do you want the boat because of what it means to somebody else? And then when I heard that, she told me, the video, I'm going to make sure I post this video, but the video, I had such an aha moment. Because what I realized is that I wanted another job. Yes, I wanted a job because I felt like me having a job that's not in corporate would be the reflection to other people. Like, it would validate to everybody else that what I was doing was right. To me, the job was the indicator that I'm growing, I'm changing, I'm moving towards my purpose. And so what I realized is that I wasn't getting out of this situation is because I needed it. And that's also what she was saying. If you need something, it can't come to you because what the signal you're sending to the universe is not the contentment. The signal that you're sending to the universe is the longing and the need. It's the desperation of it, right? Angel number 655. And so I feel like what you have to understand is that you need certain things. And maybe these things that you need, it may not even be things you really need. You just need it as a benchmark to show other people I'm doing it. And if you're doing it for those reasons, you are going to be rejected. God's not going to give it to you because your intention is not clear. Your intention, it's not even that your intention isn't clear. Your intention isn't genuine. You don't want it for the reason that you think you want it for. And so God will keep it from you until you get your intentions right. And so I feel like we have to understand what we have to ask ourselves, like, what is our situation trying to teach me? And I realized through doing these videos that my situation that I'm in right now is trying to show me the discipline it takes to be a writer. I'm so focused on, I don't want this job, instead of just being like, girl, you got 9 notebooks that you need to type. You got all this stuff you need to find. It's so many other things that I could focus my energy on other than fighting against this. And that's the message. I just want you to understand that God is saying, instead of fighting against your situation, or instead of thinking that God is doing something against you, maybe you should think that everything is happening in your favor. Everything is happening for you. God rejection is God protection. Angel number 827. I want to look at one more thing about this rejection card. The Ivory Tower. You no longer need to prove yourself. This is about understanding who you are and what you have created. Ivory allows others into your life, but choose wisely. So I think, again, it's like, if you're going to be a spiritual being, then accept that you're a spiritual being. Accept that whatever these visions that God has placed on your heart, whether that is a vision of a business, that's a vision of a family, that's a vision of a love, that's a vision of a car, whatever, a house, whatever the fuck it is, you have to know that it's for you. And whatever goes on, you have to know that it's happening so that you can get closer and closer to that goal. We have to believe that everything is working in our favor. Okay? The next card I'm going to read is Perseverance. And this is all about dealing and working with spirit, is the gray cards. And then with the Perseverance is standing in our power. So God is really trying to teach us how to stand in our power and go after the things that are truly meant for us. So this card of Perseverance, I'm going to read this for you. Don't quit before the miracle. Whoop! We can stop right there. Shannon carrot colored cloak is a gift from a famous stage actress, and she wears it all. And she wears it always as a symbol of her own talent. One day, frustrated by the sacrifices she has made in her long pursuit of success, Shannon throws off the cloaks and gives up her acting career. The great goddess tries to convince Shannon to put the cloak back on and stay the course, but she doesn't listen. Just around the corner has she persevered with great success. When we do our chosen work, we are serving the highest order. If we stop, we upset the universal balance. What you work towards will materialize. You may not see it, but it lies ahead. Can I ignore the feelings that will sidetrack me? Will I let go of fear and persevere? Let go of fear and persevere. This whole thing, she took off this thing. She used to wear this cloak all the time. You've been believing in love all your life. You believing in God all your life. And now that you're of age to actually see some of that tangible benefits of it, you take it off. You give up God because you like, God, I've been trusting you. I've been asking you to do this, but ask you to do that, and I have not seen it. So you give up. And then you will miss out on getting the growth that was really meant for you. You miss out on all the success that was meant for you. But what God is trying to get us to understand is that any situation that you're in is happening for your favor. Okay, let me stop saying this because I done said it 5-6 times. I know exactly where I'm going. Let's go to the money and the law of attraction. So we know what's happening. A lot of us is feeling like the environments that we're in, we're just feeling rejected by God. We feel like God is not hearing us. But God is saying, if you would just keep going, if you would just keep focusing on things that you love, it will eventually work out. God clarified his message of rejection, perseverance, and growth. What are you trying to get us to understand about keep going, about not giving up? About spiritual rejection. The rejection is spiritual rejection. God, please let me know with no rumor, doubt, or confusion in me or the reader's mind. Because I'm just thinking about like a couple of things where I'm just like, I'm so happy that didn't happen. Like it's so much. I'm like, I'm so happy I did not get my prayers. Like we really have to know that spiritual rejection. Rejection is spiritual protection. For this kind of rejection, what came out is the physical me is materialized spirit, which right away I can tell you that God is just showing like you are God's source. You are an extension of him. And by you being an extension of him, which means that you have his power, which means that whatever you want, you can bring it about. And if you don't have it, it's not because you are unworthy of it. But it does mean that maybe there's something inside of you that you have to work on. Okay? Let's see. Some say that you should not want money at all because the desire for money is mere materialistic and not spiritual. But we want you to remember that here in this very physical world where spirit has materialized, you cannot separate yourself from the aspect of yourself that is spiritual. And while you are here in these bodies, you cannot separate yourself from that which is physical or material. All of the magnificent things of a physical nature that are surrounding you are spiritual in nature. And so I also feel like for some reason, some of you guys are rejecting some of the things that you want because you feel like it's not spiritual. Oh, I want to be a billionaire, but billionaires are evil. You can't get it. You know, like this is what I really want y'all to understand about your limiting beliefs. And I'm so glad that this card came out because I'm going to focus on this one next. But you only get what you believe. So if you believe that billionaires are evils, then that means you can't become a billionaire until you're evil, right? If you believe that money is evil, mean you cannot have money, you cannot be financially stable until you become evil, right? So if you keep telling yourself these stories, if you think niggas ain't shit, that means that when you get a nigga, he ain't gonna be shit, right? So you have to realize that the stories that you're telling is materializing these things in reality, okay? And so instead of like focusing on all this negative stuff, the stuff that we've been programmed and conditioned to think, what God is saying is that we have to focus on knowing that we are worthy of everything. If you want a plane, have a plane. If you want to be a billionaire, be a billionaire. Because all of this stuff, it may be physical, but it's spiritual in nature. What that billionaire does with his $1 billion is not going to be the same thing that you're going to do with your $1 billion, right? So it's like God is saying two things. Don't reject God because you feel like he's not listening to you because your wishes and your dreams are not happening fast. And two, don't reject your desires because you feel like it's not worthy or like God is shaming you. God wants what you want. Take that in. I wish I still had my Conversations with God book. I'm going to buy a new one. But God wants what you want. At the end of the day, point blank period. Why do you think that narcissists and all these people get these things? Because they don't give a fuck about what nobody else thinks. Because their God say, oh, she want it, they just give it to them. But if only us good people would get that same mentality of, I don't give a fuck what nobody else have, I just want what I want, we could have those things too. And then we can change the world with it, right? All right. My every story is attracting its vibrational match. This is what God doubling down on the stories that you're telling yourself, the signals that you're sending to the universe. It's like either you have to believe that God is for you or not. Okay. Every thought that you think is vibrating at a very personal frequency, and by the powerful law of attraction, the essence of that which like is upon like is drawn. The thought is now vibrating another thought that is the vibrational match. And now those combined thoughts are vibrating at a frequency that is higher than the thought that came before that. And they will now, by the law of attraction, attract another thought and another thought. Eventually, the thoughts will be so powerful enough to attract a real life manifestation. And so, again, talking about God doesn't love me, God isn't hearing me, God don't want nothing for me, God doesn't have my best interest at heart. You thinking thoughts like that, the universe is not going to do nothing but present you with more and more evidence of that. Like, you keep thinking it and it's going to keep attracting it until you see the reality of the situation, until your reality show you God don't got your back, God is rejecting you, God is this. But if you just start to reprogram your thinking, rechange your thinking and saying that everything is happening for you, God only wants the best for you. It's not evil for me to want money. It's not evil for me to want to be successful. If you start doing all of that stuff, then God can give you all of those things and you can attract those things into your life. It's very easy, but it comes to your attention and the thoughts that you're thinking and speaking to yourself. Last message that we want to focus on is what do I want? What do I want and why do I want it? When you acknowledge what you do not want and then ask yourself what it is that you do want, you begin a gradual shift into telling of your new story and into a much improved point of attraction. You get the essence of what you think about, whether you want it or not. Because the law of attraction is inherently consistent. Therefore, you are never only telling the story of how it is, you are also telling the story of future experiences that you are now creating. Angel number 1754. So it's all doubling down on what I said before. If you continue to be in this energy of rejection, if you continue to feel like God is not for you, then the universe is not going to do anything but show you more examples of that until you give up and you will never become who you're meant to be. But if you start to just recognize that the physical you is materialized spirit, and that anything that you want, God wants you to have it. And if you just persevere and focus on changing your stories, changing the thoughts that you think at night, then asking yourself, what do you want? Why do you want it? Then everything will naturally come to you. Okay, angel number 1840. I'm actually going to leave that message there because it was so beautiful. And we're going to end this with a blessing. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, what happens if we just decide that today we are going to recognize that we are, oh my God. Y'all, I am like, I'm going to do one more message and I'm done. I low-key I'm doing this whole message and I'm like, wow, that's so amazing. Like, this message is confirming that we're spiritual beings. And it's like, girl, the whole message was a blockage reading. I'm sorry, I had a moment. So pretty much what God is saying, that we have to just stop feeling so rejected. We got to start feeling like life is happening for us. We got to know that those things that we don't have, we're not supposed to have. We never was supposed to have it. It was not supposed to be on our track, and that everything is happening for us. If we do that, if we focus on just persevering, working towards our goals, telling ourselves those stories about how amazing our life is going to be, why we want the things we want, what we want, why we want the things we want, what we want the things we want, then eventually it will manifest into a real life physical reality. All right. Okay. So God, what happens? What blessing comes upon our heart if we decide that we're going to be spiritual beings? We decide to persevere. We decide to focus on changing the stories we tell ourselves, and we decide to just focus on our growth and becoming the best person that we can be. What beautiful blessing would you impart upon our life, allowing no room for doubt or confusion in me or the dearest mind? Ashe. This was such a beautiful reading. I actually really love this reading. God is like, I don't know what you're talking about, but you spirit. You are a spiritual being. You are the physical, you and material. You are physical. You are the physical manifestation of me. Wow. Look at that. Take that in. God is saying you are the physical manifestation of me. I want you to realize that the whole reason why this universe, the whole reason why this earth was created is because God had desires to see himself in different forms. God said, I want to be a basketball player. So he was like Mike. Then he's like, I want to do it one time. But then he was like, Brian. Then he's like, I don't want to just be a basketball player. I want to be a singer. Then he was like, Beyonce. Then he's like, I want to be the greatest rapper ever. Then he was Jay. Then he said, you know what? I'm going to do it one more time. Then he became Drake. And then God said, you know what? I want to be the greatest singer, but then you know what? Then I want to get into fashion. So then he became Rihanna. So then God said, oh, I want to be the greatest writer ever. I want to show that you can change the world through stories. And then I became me. So that's what you have to realize, that you are a desire. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I thought my nails was chipped. You are a desire. You are a hope and a wish that God wanted to manifest in the world. And so anything that you want to experience is natural for you. It's supposed to be the way that it's supposed to go. That the nagging feeling you feel, that discontentment, that's because you're not walking in your God power. That's because you're denying yourself what you really genuinely want. That's because you're denying yourself the reality of how fucking powerful you are. You are a manifest wish of God. You are a physical manifestation of God's wish for the earth. Period. And if you don't step into that, if you don't step into your God power, if you don't step into who all the fuck you could be, we will miss out on that version of God. We will miss out on getting to experience that version of God. And just imagine what that version can be. We saw God be like Mike. Both Mikes, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson. We've seen God come from the hood and take over like Cardi B. What is the story? What is the expression that God is trying to show through you? And wouldn't it be selfish of you to not do it? Wouldn't it be selfish of you to not even attempt to step in that direction of your dreams? Anyways, if you decide, I am a spiritual being, I am a physical manifestation of God's wish, the blessing he will impart on you is this. Breathe in light and breathe out any unwanted thoughts. Dwelling on what has been or it might have been serves no purpose. Feel the healing omnipresent light that surrounds and fills you. Focus on the present, for it is blessed with infinite potential. I'm going to read this one more time. Breathe in light and breathe out any unwanted thoughts. Dwelling on what has been or what might been serves no purpose. Remember I said that. Feel that healing of omnipresent light that surrounds and fills you. Focus on the present, for it is blessed with infinite potential. It don't matter what happened 10 years ago. It don't matter what happened 10 minutes before this video. Today, right now, you have a chance to change the course of your life, to change the direction of your entire fucking bloodline. And it starts by you deciding no more. I'm going to believe that everything that God has presented and put on my mind, I can do it. We've heard these corny sayings. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. It's real. And if you could just stop dwelling on that bullshit from your past, you can stop dwelling on all the ways God let you down in the past and just focus on this present moment. Focus on who you are right now. Then God could get you the things that you're truly meant to have. The last blessing, this blessing of perseverance, God says, a previously closed door now opens. This is a blessed and fortunate time for you, but be mindful, humbled, and grounded. Feel your connection to the earth and feel her energy and love in your heart, and know that you are eternally blessed by the Divine Mother. Did you catch that? God says if you would just stop dwelling on any one unwanted thought, stop dwelling on what has been or what could have been, and just focus on this present moment. Focus on building your relationship with you and God's source. Focus on changing those thoughts and those stories that you tell yourself. Then all those doors that was previously closed will be open to you. And you will be able to have that growth in the love that is truly meant for you. Last message, a message of a blessed heart. If you feel that something is missing, look within and you will find it. What is your heart saying? Your heart is the gateway to your soul, and your soul is the eternal you. Know that you are blessed, free, and protected. And this is so beautiful with this coming out for growth and the blessing of the heart, because this is a heart chakra card. And so all of this is just saying is that you have to believe that God wants what you want. You have to believe that as long as you persevere and as long as you work towards your goals, as long as you tell and speak life over yourself, then you will have those growths. And you will have the growth in everything that you ultimately want. All right, y'all. That's all the messages I have for you. Angel number 2636. If you made it to the end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. If you made it to the end of this message and you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you. And never, ever, ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. See you soon.